The Mike Dolce Show.
'Cause you can, you won't, and you don't stop. 'Cause you can, you won't, and you don't stop. Oh, when you can, you won't, and you don't stop.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. We have a special guest back in the house, Miss Brandy Dolce. Hello, Brandy.
Hello there.
Can you hear me? Now, Brandy's downstairs, the bottom of the house. I'm all the way upstairs, so she's in her office. I'm in my office.
Am I echoing?
No. Can you hear me yelling from the top of the house, or do you just hear me through your earphones?
No, I did hear the beginning, the what's up, everybody?
Okay.
Yeah, of course, we can hear that. The neighbors can hear that.
The neighbors can hear. I apologize to Richard, who is in his pool right now, and where I can, like, if I'm peering through the window and looking over the hedges and the fence, I can see like the bottom of his legs sitting by the pool.
Did he flinch? Does he flinch when you yell?
I was sitting down, so I didn't stare. So I am sorry, Richard. How you doing, Brandy?
I'm great. Yeah, great. Hanging in there on my second cup of coffee. So, I think my mouth is moving fast.
Cheers. Well, DolceCoffeeRoasters.com, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, soon to be Stronger Coffee, where we will be transferring over to the Stronger Supplements website as an aside with our 100% organic premium craft roasted specialty coffee. But that's for another conversation. Brandy and I, we do race down whoever gets to the kitchen first in the morning is now basically responsible for making all cups of coffee, right?
Yeah, you're the barista.
I typically am, and I do. I am up earlier. I'm the first one typically up.
Yeah, yes, that is true. But because it's funny, because what gets me up is the smell of the coffee. I rise. I like compare it like Dracula rising from the coffin in the bar, like sit straight up in bed. I'm awake. I float downstairs, like, oh, here I come for the caffeine. It's so delicious. Yeah.
And how do you take your coffee?
Oh, it's you know what? It's funny. I used to be the person with the fake, the fake creamers, the extremely processed, like the Coffee Mate vanilla. Like a quarter of the cup was coffee, and then 3/4 of the cup was the sugar creamer. Like any kind of like super awesome. If there was like a holiday pumpkin spice creamer, I was like the first one to to open that refrigerated section door and like grab them all and get those. But now it's funny. It's black coffee, and I do a scoop of our collagen because it makes it like this creamy consistency that's so delicious. It's wonderful. Yeah. And then sometimes I do add in a little bit of like milk here and there or whatever, depending on my mood. But like that would be it.
The black coffee with the stronger, unflavored collagen, 20 grams of collagen peptides mixed in.
Yeah.
And it adds to that creaminess, right?
Yeah. And it's so good. But the thing is it depends on the coffee that you're using, because if you use a crappy brand of coffee, it's going to taste like crap.
Yeah.
I noticed with our coffee, there's no bitter taste. It's just like you don't have that the horrible like after acidity taste where you have to, blur out the taste of it. It's like, oh my God, like you're just drinking it for the caffeine buzz that you get. So you buy any Tom, Dick, and Harry, coffee to drink because you're adding all that crap to it. But no, this doesn't need all the crap added to it. It's delicious as is. So yeah, the bean really matters here. I've become a coffee snob, I think, but yeah, it's delicious.
That's actually, it's a great point that many people do use the sugar and the creamers to mask the bitter acidity of most crappy coffee.
Yeah. Just buy yourself a good cup, a good bean. Get yourself a good bean.
Yeah.
A good bean. Join the good bean club.
And that's why when we started, and this isn't an ad read for Dolce Coffee Roasters, but why we started our own craft roasted specialty coffee company was because we've grown into coffee snobs in that we value quality. That's all. Like, we value quality. It's like eating a really good piece of meat or a really good piece of fish, or, like a really good apple that's just not beaten, bruised, and gross. Like, your coffee bean should be the same. And what I notice is, like, when I drink our coffee, I don't need to drink 4 cups a day like I had in the past when I was working in an office as a tax assessor. Like, we would live on the crappy Nescafe, whatever the big, it comes in like the big can, right? This big, like 5-gallon can, like that you'd like pop the can off and you'd scoop the coffee. And it was just like, it would give you gut rot, but we would all like suck it down. Like, every hour or two, everyone's going in for another cup of coffee. And then there was always what's that?
It's our culture. It's what we do. But instead of complaining about, like, for me, like, instead of complaining about like, oh, I don't like this coffee, it's such a bitter aftertaste, let's try this one and let's try that one, we said, screw it, let's make our own.
Yeah.
We can do this.
And we were fortunate to become very good friends with a master coffee roaster, Mike Ayers, who's incredible. And we were
such a great guy.
There's a nice tie into this episode with Mike, but we became so aligned and loyal to his coffee shop, Turnstile, in Belmar, New Jersey, because they literally have the best coffee I've ever drank. And I've traveled the world. I've gone to Brazil. I've gone to where else? Melbourne, Australia. Like, these are hot spots of coffee around the world. I've gone to some of the best. I've gone to, Montreal, Canada, and tried the different styles, the different cultures. And what I found was Mike was able to, because he traveled the world with his daughter, and he was able to literally travel the world in search of the best coffee beans from around the world. And it's
I want to go on that trip. I want to go on that trip. I'll go drink coffee from around the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they went and they traveled the world and they found like the best beans from around the world. They established these amazing relationships with these mom and pop small farm providers of this, single estate, single coffee bean, hand-picked organic, specialty bean. And through conversations with Mike, we were able to get a pipeline to what became our favorite bean. We use this dark roasted Peruvian bean that comes from the mountains of Peru. They're all grown and harvested above 5,000 feet elevation. So the mountains of Peru on two farms run by one family, and these beans are still handpicked to this day, which is why we don't overly push it. We're not trying to be Black Rifle Coffee or God forbid, Starbucks. We produce just enough coffee beans for our loyal subscribers. And then when we run out, well, then you have to wait until the next roasting 2 weeks later. So we roast every 2 weeks is the deal. And when we run out, we run out, and then you just get in the queue for the next time through. And I feel like we drink more coffee than we sell, right?
Yeah, for sure we do. Absolutely.
But it's a good point that you bring up. So I want to move the conversation mentioning Mike Ayers. Mike Ayers is also a runner. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about Brandy as the athlete and Brandy's running. And I want to, because in past episodes, we spoke about her journey from being a complete non-runner to almost dying on a 10-minute jog back in 2023. And now she's
it's a 1 minute jog.
But you've run 2 full marathons now, right?
Yes.
You are now of your last marathon, Marine Corps marathon. You ran it in under 4 hours, and that becomes very special for a marathon runner. To finish 26.2 miles in under 4 hours is not just a general recreational jogger or fitness enthusiast. Like, this is more rarefied air. When you tell another runner, hey, I'm a sub-4 marathon, they're like, oh, wow. Like, that becomes special. And I would say it's probably akin to being a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, where white, blue, purple, brown, and black, like, there are certainly levels, and there are some folks who are professionals, the Kenyans, who can run marathons in a little over 2 hours, right?
Oh, like, yeah, it's ridiculous. They're amazing.
So there are some levels to that, but I would say, and it's very rare that I come across folks who are not higher level athletes that run sub fours. And maybe some of you guys listening to the show have great marathon times. If so, send us an email to Coach Mike at thedolcediet.com. We definitely want to hear about your experience. But I want to hear more about your experience, Brandy. I want you to share with the audience what it's actually like now. And then we'll talk, a little bit later about what you have coming up.
Sure.
But what is it like to actually run a marathon? I've never run one. I've never run more than like 10 miles is my limit back. And that was
I remember. I remember you had this goal of running 10 miles. And I remember the day that you went and you did, I'm going to go run 10 miles. And I was like, oh my God, he's nuts. Like, who does that? That is the silliest thing I've ever heard. But you have a goal and go get it. Like, go Mike. For me, running the marathon was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
First marathon or second marathon?
Both.
Okay, continue.
No,
Sorry.
honestly. Yeah, no, the marathon is the hardest thing. And after the first one, I said, that was it. I'm not signing up for the second one. And 12 days later, I signed up for the second one. And, they had a finisher's blanket for that one. And I had to get that blanket. I had to do it. But, cause I like free swag.
It's all about the swag.
It's all about the swag, baby. It's all about the hardware at the end. Yeah. Just there's something that I love about the pain of it. And I don't know what that is, mentally, but I enjoy the pain and I enjoy the struggle. I am proud of myself for the endurance factor of it. And also that it is rare. I think one of the statistics I've heard is that fewer than 1% of people in the world run a marathon. And that's just like, that's cool. That's cool. Although when you're in the marathon and there's 30,000, 40,000 people running with you, you can't see how just 1% of people in the world have run a marathon because it seems like the whole world is running the marathon with you at that moment because you are tripping over them. You are getting elbowed and pushing people out of the way in a kind way. But, I love it because it is difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Do you, as a coach, do you know what that is?
Well,
that mentality? Who does that?
When you said you love the pain and the pain factor, are you talking about the physical pain that your body is sensing, or are you talking about the pain of mental fatigue?
It's mental. Yeah.
Mental. Talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah. I've always been the type of person where I can sit with myself in silence and not be bored. I don't have to be the person looking at my phone. I don't have to have a book in my hand. I can sit and I can wait for long periods of time. On planes, I'll just sit there. I've sat for 6-hour flights doing
like a psycho.
Who knows? But, and I'll sit for a 6-hour plane ride and I will just sit there and I will stare out the window and do absolutely nothing else. I don't know what that is, but these are things I've started thinking about, like after I was training for the marathon, like how are people able to do that? What kind of person is able to, experience the pain and keep just going through it? And I don't know if it's like I can separate my mind from the pain or what it is, but you enter into this just like this flow state where it hurts and you want to stop and it would feel so good just to stop. But your mind refuses to let you. So your mind will keep going until your body breaks. And I think that's why I like the training too, because I know the training will prevent my body from breaking on the day that it matters, hopefully. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It reminds me of, and I've told you, I'm not sure about the audience. A few years ago, I'm at a UFC event cornering Carlos Condit fighting Robbie Lawler for the world title. And, I walk out with Carlos and the team, and he walks out the tunnel to go and fight. And I would always like to stop just outside the curtain. So I'd be inside the arena, but I'd be standing in the tunnel completely alone. And it was beautiful and it was pure. And I'm like the chaos of the arena, but I'm just standing there watching my fighter make the walk and go out there, and I'm not involved in the corner. And then I see part of, Dana White's crew. He's got this bunch of people around him, usually, very high value people. And one of the guys with them kind of like breaks off the group with Dana leaves, and this other gentleman comes, and he kind of like comes through the curtain, and he's standing with me. He's a tall, thin guy, about my age, maybe a little bit older. And hey, what's up? We're just standing there watching the fight. We just start talking. And then we start talking about health and fitness and whatnot. He knows who I am and what we do and training and this. And I ask him about him because he looks fit. And he's an endurance athlete. He's like an ultra endurance athlete, and it's like a surfer. And he's like, I'm like, wow, you have a really eclectic background. I said, you gravitate towards a lot of very painful sports. And I said, I find endurance athletes tend to be seeking a version of pain to quiet other pain that they may have experienced in life. And he just stopped and got quiet, and he stared at me and he said, I think you're right. It was like, it was a very big eureka for him at the moment. And we spoke because I've been around endurance athletes for a large part of my career. It's not my specialty, but I've trained in and around them and worked with some. And we started talking more about what you're saying, that mental side of the ability to get in and push yourself through these perceived barriers. David Goggins talks about it. Cameron Haynes talks about it. And we have this beautiful conversation that marathon running is a metaphor for life, where there will be pain. Like, it will be arduous. Nothing is easy in life. Like, there are beautiful moments and memories and experiences, but there are also a lot of painful moments that you can either persevere and push through the pain and then get to the finish line and the emotional release and the joy and the experience of having that little shiny rock you put in your pouch and you move forward. Or the pain can break you, and the pain breaks most people, unfortunately, whether it's the pain of training, maybe it's the pain of even signing up, the pain of then training for it, the pain of lining up, the pain of enduring mile 1 through mile 26.2 and going on. And I'll just say, and it turns out that the guy I was talking to turned out to be Jesse Eitzler. Now, if you don't know who Jesse Eitzler is the guy who founded Vita Coco that you've all drank. Vita Coco is like the famous, and then sold the company. Jesse's worth, he's a billionaire, right? His wife started Spanx. Right. So and I think Spanx and Canva, if I'm correct. Right. So it's like Jesse's wife is way more successful than Jesse, and Jesse's like a billionaire himself. And
what a power couple. Wow.
So he was just the coolest, and is the coolest, most down to earth. I had no idea he was anyone other than a fight fan who was intentionally exposing himself to extreme levels of pain and torture and sacrifice by choice. But you look at his level of success, and I think there's a great metaphor, his ability to endure so much discomfort and challenges through life to be that level of success. Of course, he gravitates towards something also. So then I turn the conversation back to you, because I've watched you go through this, and I've watched you sign up and line up and then finish these races, understanding the torture that you must go through. And I use torture as it's a two-sided word, because it is a torture that you enjoy, right? It's kind of like having toddlers, right? Or having a new puppy in the house, right? Having a new puppy, there's the torture.
More like having a new puppy.
Okay, having a new puppy.
That's hell.
I wanted to add a context.
Yeah.
So let's get back to what it is actually like to run a marathon.
In what context? Like, Like from lining up to,
if you can go back to, holy shit, I signed up for my first marathon. And then like, let's just kind of go through the different phases of, I'm so excited. Holy shit, I can't believe I did this. Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Fuck, I don't know if I can do this. Like that roller coaster of emotion, I'm assuming that you go through that, these individuals go through.
So my thing is I started running, did a couple small races, signed up for my first half marathon, thought that would be it. That was Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
A few years ago. So I did that and I gave myself these little goals. So my goal was to come in under 2 hours on my first half marathon. And I did it by like a minute and a half or 2 minutes. It was close. And the joy I felt of the accomplishment, the training for that, the whole process of training for that, the study behind running form and running economy and just everything I put into that and following my plan. And when I finally crossed that finish line, I felt it was like nothing I'd ever felt before in my life. Yeah. No one helped me do it. I mean, you obviously my family, but no one was out there.
We supported you, but we didn't help you.
Yes, absolutely. No, yes, exactly. And it's like, it's not a team sport. Like running, you're on your own. And if you mess up, that's on you. If you don't follow your training plan, if you don't get your runs in, if your nutrition is crap, if you mess up, it's you who messes up. You can't blame anybody else. Oh, the goalie missed the ball or she missed that kick or whatever it is, it's just you. And I love that. I love that I am the one who is at fault because conversely, I'm also the one who, getting the reward of it. Like it is my fault. It's my race to win mentally, and physically. So once I did that half marathon and I felt that, I was like, oh my God, I'll never do that again. Cause it was just as painful being a relatively new runner and new to the whole thing. Like that was painful. I'm never doing that again. So then I signed up for, I think it was Nashville. Was it Nashville? There was a few. I think I've done like 5 half marathons since that time. And then once I did those and bringing on the marathon, looking at that was just like, well, I did a half. Can I do 2 halves? And I pictured it like, oh, it's 2 half marathons. So the training will be a little bit longer. It's a whole other beast. I think I was talking to you about that this morning. Like a marathon mathematically is 2 half marathons. Obviously 1 and 1 equals 2. It's not though. It is, you are training for different phases of 26.2 miles very differently than you train for phases of 13.1 miles. So I did a lot of reading. I watched a lot of videos, again, just like the mental preparation that goes even into training for this is different than running a half marathon. You just have to, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, you have to embrace the suck. Yeah. You have to get to that pain cave, and you have to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. And if this all sounds amazing, it doesn't sound amazing, does it? Doesn't this make you want to do this?
Well, there are levels, right? So not everyone, and you on day one, well, let's go all the way back to 2023 when you said, hey, I'm going to go for a run, and you come back 10 minutes later with a red face and like hand in the air.
10 years.
Don't fucking talk to me.
Don't talk to me about this. Yeah. So I'm slow, out of shape, overweight, like everything. And I was like, I can't do this. And then I think the next day I went out and I tried again.
Yeah.
And
if you had said, hey, you're going to run a marathon next year.
No.
That probably would have demotivated you.
Oh, yeah. The Herculean task.
And, 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 and,
Yeah. Well, you know me. Like I'll tell you like, oh, I want to go do a workout with you, but I don't want to do like a mic workout,
Yeah. Come on.
you know, like, cause you're like a maniac and you'll be like, I'll do this exercise and do that exercise and I'll do the exercise and then I'll be sore for a week. And for me, that's demotivating. Like, I don't like to be in that level of pain. I like to be in steps of pain. So it can't be like, do you know what I mean? I know. I see your face. I can see you.
I have so many comments.
I know, but I know, but it has to be like a Brandy level acceptable measure of pain.
And what do I say about consistency?
About what? Consistency?
Yes.
That you won't be in pain if you're consistent.
Exactly.
With your,
that initial first 2 weeks. Everybody is sore. Now, everybody listening, understand the first 2 weeks of any exercise program. I don't care if you start playing golf. If you don't play golf and all of a sudden you go and play 9 holes or 18 holes, you're going to be sore. Your low back's going to be sore. Your hands are going to be sore. Your forearms are going to be sore. Your calves and hammies are going to be sore. You're going to be sore if you go out there and just get into it. But 2 weeks, if you keep playing 9 holes every second or third day for 2 weeks, you will no longer be sore. Same thing. If you have done 0 body weight squats and then out of the blue, you go and do 3 sets of 10, you're going to be a little sore for a day or two. If you do 3 sets to failure, oh, you're going to be fucked for like a week. Now,
yeah, good luck sitting on the toilet.
Exactly. But if you keep at it for the next 2 weeks, you're not sore anymore. It doesn't matter. And I always point to like wrestlers. You know, that's my background. If any human walked into a freshman high school wrestling room and did their workout, I don't care who the fuck you are. You're not walking. You're not sitting on the toilet. Getting in and out of bed is going to be so hard to do. But if you showed up and got your ass kicked for 2 weeks straight in a freshman high school wrestling room, you would be finishing practice. No problem. You'd be so much better. You would not be sore at all. So that's my point, not just for you, Brandy, but for everyone listening. The first 2 weeks, you must accept the suck, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You must. I say embrace it. Embrace the difficulty in the very beginning and bake that into the process. Because if we think, oh, I'm going to get started, but I don't want it to hurt. I don't want to be sore. I don't want it to be uncomfortable. I don't want to delay gratification. I don't want it to disrupt my schedule. I don't want to. No,
it does all of it. Running does all of it. Anything. Yeah, it does. It does all of it.
It's adaptation and it's adjustment.
Absolutely.
But then just like in your runs, then you break through that barrier and then you open up a completely new level where what made you sore and made you tired is barely the entry level. It's barely the warm up. Again, I'll use Goggins, and I'm not a huge fan of Goggins, but he has some great points. Most people quit when they are only 40% of the way to their potential, because the brain quits far before the body, and the brain quits because humans set certain expectations on what they're willing to accept instead of completely, throwing that out the window and accepting whatever it takes, or saying this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. It is going to test me to levels I cannot even consider, and I am going to keep going no matter what. That is such a great way to do it and to move on. So going now into, let's talk about lining up for your first marathon and running it. And then I want to talk about, after that, I want to talk about, well, how is it like the actual training? So let's just talk about the performance of, so we're in, Virginia or Maryland or Washington. We're basically Washington, D.C., just out Washington.
We're in Washington, D.C., yeah.
For the Marine Corps Marathon, we're there. We're going to expedite through the wake up in the morning, the shuttles. We're there in Runner's Village, which is such a cool experience. Now you are lined up. You are corralled. What are you thinking?
I'm crying my eyes out. I am crying my eyes out because I couldn't believe that I made it to the starting line, that I completed this whole training plan. It was like I don't even know, like 18 weeks. It was, I think I had started my training was it June 1st? It was, anyway, and the race was like October 26th or something. And it was, I had like, for the first time, not the, well, maybe the first time, I felt like for the first time in my life, I was doing something that was so much bigger than myself, it was a marathon, a full marathon. And here I was ready to go at the start line, like waiting for these cannons to go off. And I'm still like, I still like, I have chills. Like I could still feel myself at that start line in the dark with thousands of other runners, just like in this energy, like buzzing around us. And everybody's just like wrapped up in their throwaway gear. They throw away when the cannons go off. So you like your old bathrobes, your sweatshirts that you buy to, to keep warm until it starts. And everybody is just like buzzing and ready to go. And I felt so thankful to be there. And like, I knew I had a goal to finish. I wanted to finish around 4 hours at that one. And it was, I don't know, it's just so amazing. When I started and I'm running and I have this huge grin on my face and I'm like, oh my God. And everybody's shoes are clapping around me as we're going. And people are like shouting to each other, and it's the Marine Corps marathon. So all you hear is like, hoorah, hoorah. Like you see these American flags everywhere and you see the monuments, of our great nation all around us. And it was just so beautiful. It was just so like just gorgeously tough and American. And I loved it. And I'll definitely do Marine Corps again, eventually one day. But yeah, it was just like the feeling going through me for those miles was just like, I don't know if I'll be able to feel that again. Well, maybe I will.
I think so. Now, before we get to what's up next for you, talk about the training. Now, training for a marathon is completely different than training for a 5K or a 5-mile or a 10K
5K.
or half marathon. Like the average person can probably finish a half marathon if they're relatively fit at party pace, as they say. Right. So
party pace, yes.
What is party pace? Let's just give
party pace is you're in it to have a good time and to experiencing things. And, if you see your friends on the sidelines cheering on, you stop and you go and you high five them and you hug them and you take a selfie, and then you like lope on, like, and you're like, you wave at the band. And I remember like party pace is so my first half marathon, Las Vegas, you got to run. They shut down the entire Las Vegas Strip at night. It was amazing. Along the way, they had points that you could stop at and take a selfie, and they would put your picture up on this huge billboard on one of the hotels. It was really cool, like this digital billboard. And I was like, God, I want to do that, but I want to finish under 2 hours and I'm not stopping for anything. And I was just like, I didn't do any of that. So I did not do party pace, but I saw so many people having such a good time, just like taking in the experience, doing fireball shots, which I don't know how they did it, but just it was so cool to see them, and it made me happy to see people like just having such a good time. But yeah, that's party pace, literally just taking it all in and having that amazing experience along the way.
Gotcha. And then race pace.
Race pace is you are there for business. Yeah. Like you have thought out your race nutrition. You are locked and loaded. You know where all the hydration is going to be along the race course. You know where the potties are along the way, the porta potties. If you need that break, you know where, if there's like a tangent line to run tangents on the race course, you have mapped this course out.
What's a tangent for those who don't know that?
So for those who don't know, it is the, let's just say the straightest, cleanest line from the starting point to the finish point. It is exactly the 13.1 miles. It is exactly the 26.2 miles certified, like on a certified race course. So like for both marathons I ran over. So when I crossed the finish line, I think it said like 26.8 miles, instead of 26.2. Both times I ran over because I try, you try to be as close as possible. I don't know that anybody runs exactly 26.2 unless you're just like God.
The top 10 probably do.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, they probably do for sure.
But they're so far ahead, they're not running into the pack and weaving in and out, and right.
No, and no one. Yeah, there's no cluster for you to get stuck in along the way. So yeah.
All right. So now moving forward, you ran your first Marine Corps marathon. You did amazing, and you said, "I've run a marathon, bucket list done. Check that box." And I remember you said, "I'm done. I don't have to ever do that again. I'm going to go back to running halves or maybe just some local 5K, 10K races here around town." And then barely a week later, after we got some hydration and some sugar back,
ate some burgers,
you said, "I'm going to run the Marine Corps next year."
Well, they had the blanket. They're giving away this free fuzzy blanket. I know it seems trivial to you. It's worth it.
No, it's not. And it's not. You don't say, "I'm going to go and endure that again for a blanket."
I don't know. It's really nice.
The blanket is significant only because it was earned, because I could buy you a much nicer blanket that did not have the same significance, and it would be used as a dog bed.
So the next one was the 50th. So it was the 50th Marine Corps Marathon. It was such a beautiful experience. I think not only for me, but for our girls, because they ran the Marine Corps Marathon. They ran the kids race.
Yeah.
And the pride, they were taking photos with the amazing Marines there.
He's incredible. They were so amazing.
They were so happy. Yeah, they were amazing. They were so happy. It was just such an amazing experience for them. And being in our nation's capital, it was great, like all around. And we discussed it, obviously, before I signed up for the second one. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
And my only hesitation with that, it's not running the race. It's not making the trip and running the race. It's the extreme training that goes into that. The Sunday runs that, I mean, I'm not an elite runner. It takes me a while. Like those long runs, those 16, 17, 18, 320 milers that I do, it takes a toll. All the runs in the middle of the week, the speed runs, the hill work, all of that takes its toll. Plus homeschooling the girls, all of the taking them back and forth to classes, the cooking. I love to cook dinners for us, all our homemade meals and stuff. I like to do it all. And then when you factor in marathon training, it definitely takes its toll. And we try to minimize that as much as we can. But it's the training that really can deter you from signing up for something like a marathon, and I think a lot of first-time marathoners go into that. They don't realize to train properly for a marathon, you have to invest that time and you're going to have to pick yourself. You have to be a little selfish.
Are you saying that in order to run a marathon, you have to have an amazingly supportive husband?
Yes. Oh my God. How did you guess? That's what I was saying. Amazing.
But so you as a mom, a full-blown mom, and dare I say a traditional wife, because in many ways you are, but you also do work inside our business. But
that too.
That also. So it's not like you don't work. You're highly educated. You've worked, outside the house in the real world for MTV and was it, Gannett and these other, major, national, international media outlets as a journalist. And then now you've moved into this phase of life, married, mom, like living this, I'll say more of a traditional wife lifestyle, which is, and some people, when they hear traditional wife, they're like, "Oh God, that's great." No, that is one of the hardest, most time involved jobs in the world, because it's so, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you are on the clock. And I will say, because, we work through the Dolce method. We work with a lot of men and women who have completely, different lifestyles, which is amazing.
Sure.
But there's something to be said for the mom who gets in her car at 7:30 or 8 a.m. and drives 30 to 45 minutes to an office building, and she works for 8 hours a day, and then she drives 30 to 45 minutes home. I'm not saying it is any less, but it is not any more for sure than the responsibilities of a mother who has to be fully present. And we homeschool. So we don't send our children to school 5 days a week for 6 to 8 hours per day. And a lot of that is a part of your responsibility.
Yes.
So how with all, and I'm only saying that to paint the picture that you are as busy as any other mother out there.
Oh, yeah.
How then do you carve out the time that it takes to prepare for and train for a marathon without letting any of your other responsibilities slip, which you haven't? Like you don't, like you still prioritize all the other responsibilities that you carry throughout your day on top of preparing for a marathon race. So how do you juggle that?
Well, my family's the most important thing to me. So I know certain things need to get done. And running and training for a marathon is a blessing. It is extra. And so but it is also a priority to me. So I'm basically very lucky that our girls know how to entertain themselves. We'll just start right there.
Absolutely.
Like going into a new training block, I involve them. Like they know Mama's training for a marathon and that she's going to have these runs. And they'll come, Mom, how many miles do you have today? And I'll tell them, they're like, oh, wow, okay. So I'll set them up. Like I'll make them breakfast. And what are we doing? You're going to practice violin. You're going to practice piano. We have these things to do. So I'm going to go run 5 miles and Daddy's at home doing meetings or whatever in his office. So, but these are the things I expect you to have done by the time I get back. And so they are pretty autonomous and doing, things like that. And then when I get back, we can do the things together, like certain lessons and whatever. But I've just planning, just the going into it with a plan, knowing what I have to do, warning you guys what is coming up is also very helpful, So, I mean, you just go into it with a schedule and with a plan and just making sure that the family is on the same page.
Yeah. And you make it work. You find the time. Sometimes it's early morning runs. Last Sunday, you were, awake before anyone else, out of the house at like,
It was shocking, right? It was shocking. I did so good.
But that's when I know you're really locking into training mode is you're up earlier, you're efficient. I could see you have your food, your hydration, your breakfast already laid out the night before. Like your shoes are like already ready. Like you already have that stuff ready to go the night before to make the next day more efficient, which increases the percentage of completion that you're going to get it done. It's easier to get done. Like the coffee's already ready to go and be brewed. It's like all that stuff is ready. And that little bit of extra completely changes the efficiency of the day and the consistency of the process. So now moving forward, let's get to the announcement, and we're going to announce something here on the Mike Dolce Show podcast to you, our audience, because I find you guys to be the most intimate group that we have. You are the ones who are a part of our lives. Many of you have followed us since 2013 when we first launched this show. You've watched the evolution of the podcast when Brandy was my co-host all the time. And then through the pregnancy of Victoria and then the birth of Arden and like the move from Vegas back to New Jersey, you guys have been a part of all of this with us. And I think it's really cool. Brandy and I agree that we wanted to announce this to you guys first because you've been a part of our journey. And we want to bring you along this journey now for Brandy. So you have said, like, for years, well before you even ran the first Marine Corps marathon, that like, oh, it would be really cool to do what?
Run the New York City Marathon.
Yeah. So what's happening now?
I'm going to run the New York City Marathon. Oh my God. I'm like tearing up. I can't even believe it. Oh my God. I'm such a goober. I'm like crying.
Explain.
What is wrong? This is what happens. This is what happens at the start lines. I'm like so emotional. Where does it come from? Where does that come from? Oh my goodness. So I've always thought like, oh, I've wanted to do a major marathon but the biggest one would be New York. And I was like, there's so many people that run that. Like, how do you even get in? And it's hard to get in. Like,
how many people apply and how many are accepted?
Like, I think like over 1 million people apply for this. There's a lottery that you can apply for, like so there's like, is there 3 ways to get in? You can apply for the lottery and it is luck of the draw. Yeah. And I've always put my name in. I put my name into all the majors. I'm not fast enough to qualify yet. There are qualifying times so that if you get under a certain time for your age group,
and they're kind of elite standards, by the way.
Yeah, they're
elite standards.
Yeah.
And I should say, even those who meet the standards, there's so many applicants, they're still not approved. If you, let's say for someone in Brandy's age group runs a 3:30 marathon in a qualifying race, they won't even take those ladies because there's so many humans who have applied. It has to be.
They take the fastest.
The fastest of the fast. Yeah. Yes.
Of the fast. So you'll need like a 6-minute buffer of that time. I don't know. It's crazy. So you can qualify to get in as one way. You can get in through the lottery, which is very rare. Like there's people that have applied for 20 years and don't get in. And then there's people who have applied for the first time ever in their life and they get in. Then there's the New York Roadrunners method, where I believe you can run 9 of the New York Roadrunner races and volunteer for one, and you will get a bib to the following year's marathon. I could be wrong on that. That is a rough explanation. Okay. And then the fourth way is through running for a charity, and it's by raising money. There's a lot of charities that work with New York Roadrunners who put on the New York City Marathon, and if you can get in and qualify with one of the charities, then you'll get a bib. But you have to raise money. You have to raise money by marathon time. I think it's by October. It's like a certain amount of money, whatever is agreed upon between you and the charity. So that's the way that works.
And you were accepted by a charity. And do you want to announce the charity that you're running for? Then I'll read their mission statement, which I think everybody here will smile and absolutely love, and just see why we feel it's meant to be and so special.
So I think the listeners know our history, obviously, with MMA. I don't know, you're some kind of coach that does something with that. And obviously we have a vast history with MMA. The charity that I'm running for is called Hit the Books NYC. And it's so incredible. Like I still can't even believe it. It's like pinch me. So they are an organization out of Harlem. They are basically a safe place for kids in Harlem to go after school, to do their homework, to be mentored. You know, they can eat their snacks and use the computers and everything. And also, they are given free MMA classes, which is amazing. And I think it's for ages 6 to 13. There is no cost to these kids to come in and just have this awesome, safe community of positivity. And what a beautiful thing that they're able they able to offer? Yeah, go ahead, read the mission statement.
So established in 2019, Hit the Books aims to bring additional educational resources to underserved communities through a sports-based development approach with tutoring and mentorship at its core and mixed martial arts as the hook. Hit the Books serves as an after-school community center to facilitate career development and help make any and every goal achievable for its students. It is such a beautiful organization utilizing the backdrop of martial arts as combined with academics and personal development and confidence, helping these young leaders develop themselves under this very safe and loving but firm and structured environment, giving them opportunities that they likely would not have had themselves. And why it's so special, I think, and I don't want to talk for Brandy here, it's because Brandy is an academic. She has her degrees in journalism and communications. You know, I, of course, have my world of mixed martial arts. And, you know, Brandy, we're writers, right? Brandy is a writer, and she spent her career on that side of journalism, more writing than anything. So there's this charity that pops up like as if God literally handed it to her and said, this is the charity for you. And it's such an amazing blend of who we are at our core. And, you know, for those of you who do or don't know, we don't often publicize this, but we support many underprivileged youth organizations. We have a foundation I'll speak about down the road about that, supporting youth academics and youth athletics and, you know, underprivileged, you know, areas of food scarcity. It's something we've been very dedicated to for, you know, the last 10 plus years. But now Brandy gets to represent Hit the Books NYC and achieve, you know, her bucket list goal of running the New York Marathon for a cause that is so near and dear to our hearts. It's such a special opportunity.
Yeah, it was just straight, like when we were talking about it, we were just like both staring at each other in awe. Like, is this for real?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Are we being punked? Yeah. So I feel so lucky to be able to do this. And it truly is a blessing. So now I'm in week 4, 5 of training.
It's November 1st you're lining up November 1st, New York Marathon 2026, November 1st. And we're going to keep Brandy. She's going to come back much more often now to talk about the training, the highs and the lows, to really bring you guys along the journey. But also, if you are so moved to donate to Hit the Books via Brandy's donation page, it supports Brandy, of course, because now she has to raise money. We haven't announced it yet. So you're the first one. So if you wanted to throw in a $1, $5, $500, whatever makes sense to you to support these amazing children in this amazing organization and to give a little bit of a thumbs up and high five to Brandy on her journey, it would be amazing for you to do that. There will be a link below this episode on iTunes. So please go to iTunes, click the link and donate to Brandy's page. This is a charitable donation. There is a write-off to this for those that, you know, understand that tax status. That's great. But any donation absolutely matters. Just seeing your name show up will be so special to know that there's this amazing community of you guys that are there. Also, Brandy has started a new Instagram page focused on her running journey, which is great. It's at Brandy is Running, Brandy. Brandy is Running on Instagram. I repost a bunch of her stuff, but certainly find Brandy is Running, follow Brandy is Running, and then likely in the next week or two, we'll put up the link to donate there on that side. Also, we any support matters, guys and gals. Even if it's just a thumbs up, like or comments, follow her page. If you don't have the cash, hey, do not worry about that. But if you do, it'd be wonderful because it really is for such a wonderful, wonderful cause.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, anything helps. But it would be cool to see you guys pop up on my Instagram page and just say hi. That would be great too.
Yeah, that's I freaking I
Yeah.
love it. I love you guys. I love the audience. I love the participation, which is why we wanted to have these more informal conversations. Like Brandy and I, we're just sitting, in our pajamas. She's downstairs sipping coffee. I'm up here sipping coffee, and
These are my day clothes. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding.
That's a whole nother podcast, by the way. All right, guys and gals, we're gonna shut it down here. Brandy, you have anything before we roll?
No, just thank you for this. This is wonderful. I love being on the podcast. I love talking to you, even though I see you all the time. But this is cool because we get to come out and share little tidbits of our life with people who don't know us.
I know. And it's the audience, the listener. I always picture whenever I'm recording the podcast, I always picture you, the listener, sitting at the table with the headphones on. You just don't have a microphone in front of you. So all these conversations, whether it's just me to you, the listener, or me and the guest with the listener in a three-way conversation. So it's always so special to know that you're sitting in that chair as a part of that. So we appreciate you guys for being here, for all the support over the years. And we look forward to, you've probably noticed the last couple episodes, every Monday, we have a new interview show that comes out. Brandy's going to be the interview this Monday. We have a lot more coming from the Mike Dolce Show audio podcast. So please make sure you're following us on iTunes so we can boost our rankings there. Throw us a 5-star review and a comment if you're so inclined. Share this episode with friends and family, or these episodes with friends and family. Say, hey, go check out that Mike Dolce Show podcast if you need some motivation. And we appreciate you guys. So until next time, remember, don't count calories. Make calories count.
'Cause you can't.